After reviewing over $100 million in ad spend over the last 12 months, this is the best strategy that you can use for Google Ads in 2025. Come on, Aaron, you're better than that. And to be honest, I can't believe that I even said that. The reason for that is because if you watched any of my videos or if you've been a follower of my YouTube channel, you'll know that I'm really against the whole principle of people posting up their secret strategies about what is working in Google Ads right now. For me, your account structure is far more important than any secret strategy that you could come up with. When you dive down into the reasons for why people are hunting down YouTube and LinkedIn or Reddit for the latest secret proven Google Ads strategy, is because fundamentally these core aspects of their campaign are not working. So in this video, I am going to take you through a strategy, but really you can actually more call this a structure, because what I'm about to take you through in this video is why your account structure is so important. And when you get your account structure right, you can then move it into any strategy that you need for any business, whether that be for lead gen or e-commerce, whether that be for a small budget or whether that would be for a large budget. And I call this my bottom-up Google Ads funnel. Now, no doubt you'll probably hear this language of a bottom-up funnel start to filter out more and more throughout this year. But this is a concept that I've really gone through and created in and around some different core concepts. And the first one being is that when you get this structure right, you don't need to always be looking and hunting for advanced Google Ads strategies. And the reason for that is because when I really quiz people about why they're looking for or why they're wanting to test different advanced strategies, when you take a dive into their account, you generally find there's two things which are glaringly wrong. And the first reason for why they give as to why they want to try these advanced strategies is because their ads are not converting. And as a really ballpark figure, now, when I look to go and review an account, obviously, we look to hit higher than this, but what we're really looking at is if you're running an e-commerce campaign, and especially if it's a shopping campaign and you're not hitting a conversion rate of at least 3%, we've got some issues that we need to work with. Or if you're running a lead generation business and your search campaigns are not running at 7% conversion rate, we then know that there's some things we need to look at. And it's really, really easy to start running to different strategies and trying different things like, performance max feed only campaigns or what are the different strategy may be. But if you're not hitting those metrics, those strategies really aren't going to solve the problem, because fundamentally your ads are not converting or your products are not converting. So what you need to do is, before you go look off and try to hunt out some different strategies, is firstly go through and look at your landing pages, run some different testing, try to find out why your landing page is not converting. Because if you've already got good targeted traffic, because a lot of times people will say that they've got well targeted traffic, and to be honest, that is generally not the problem. Most people can get good targeted traffic. So when we look at the search terms, we can see that, they are hitting the right type of traffic. But if they're not converting, the problem is they're not Google Ads. More than likely, it's in and around their landing page. So we need to do some more testing there. Now, that's a big subject on its own. So if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll give you a link as to where you can watch some further training on the core concepts, which are all data-driven about landing pages. Another thing we may need to look at is your pricing and your offer. Now, this doesn't mean that you need to drop your price, because I'm not a big believer in, offering the lowest price. It just may be how you present it, the wording that you've got in your offer, how you're presenting your pricing, which comes back again to your landing page. And then another area that people don't think about is your product titles and also your ad copies. And especially for search ads, I'm a big believer, and we've seen a lot of data around introducing the conversion that you want the user to complete, introducing that concept in your ad copy. So before we go down on the hunt for advanced strategies, what I'm really looking at is if your campaign's not converting, we need to fix that problem first, because any strategy is only going to be a short-term fix if your ads fundamentally do not convert. And then this brings us to the second foundation that you need for a successful Google Ads campaign, and that's about the correct structure. Because if you don't have your account structure set up right, you may be able to get some success in the early days, but when you go to scale, you are unable to scale. And a big problem that I see with this is that people having multiple campaigns targeting the same products or keywords. Now, I will have multiple campaigns that are targeting the same product, but they're specifically targeting different areas of the buying cycle and different areas of the funnel. And that's an important difference, because if you've got two campaigns targeting the same users, the same keywords, what's going to happen is you are not going to be able to scale, because when you fix up one campaign, you're kind of going to have to fix up the other campaign, and you can never really solve it. And the other thing that you really need to think about is your account structure, is really taking the time to really think about the correct segmentation for your account. The easiest way to get the best results with Google Ads is to spend more money on your best products and services. So the products and services that are converting the most, let's funnel more money into them, and let's hold back the spend on the areas of your business which aren't converting as well. Work out why they're not converting and then spend more money. And that's where it comes into making sure you've got some different campaigns based around different products or services dependent on anything from locations, traffic volume, profit margins, as I said, performance. So that's what I'm talking about, account structure. So as I'm going to take you through this bottom-up funnel, it's really, really important to note that they're the two core things that we're really looking at. So it's really important to note that if you've got problems with your conversion rates, or if you've got problems with not being able to scale, it's not looking at the advanced strategy, it's looking at why you're not converting and how to have the correct structure so that you can see long-term results. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to jump into a screen share so I can walk you through the bottom-up funnel and how to put together for your own business. But like with any type of Google Ads campaign, and especially if you wanted to go through those checkpoints of how to make sure that you're getting some conversions for your business, the best way to do this is to go through a proper optimization strategy. And just in case you don't have access to my Google Ads optimization checklist, if you follow the link in the description below, you can get access to this checklist, which takes you through how to optimize all the different types of campaigns: search, shopping, performance max, display, demand gen, and video campaigns. And it not only lets you know the different actions you need to take, it also lets you know how often you need to complete those optimization actions. So if you want to get access to that checklist, follow the link in the description below. Right now, we're going to go into that screen share so I can walk you through the bottom-up funnel. All right, so let me take you through the step-by-step process of this bottom-up funnel. This will work for both lead gen and e-commerce, but what I am going to be doing, just so I can do it all in one slide, is I'm going to be combining these two types of campaigns together. So when it comes to the bottom-up funnel, if you were an e-commerce brand, you would do a collection of search and shopping. If you're doing lead gen, obviously it would only be search. Now, don't worry about these 30 to 40% of these budget markers, because when we see the total bottom of the funnel strategy together, these percentages will make sense. I do want to note that they are only a guide, because for each business, this will be a little bit different depending on search volume, depending on competition. So there's a lot of different factors, but that's just a very, very rough guide. Obviously, when we start with the bottom of the funnel, you'll be starting with 100%. Now, the reason for why it's so important to start with the bottom of the funnel is what we're wanting to do is fundamentally, we're wanting to make sure that our ads convert. All those problems before that we said, we want to make sure we're hitting off a search campaign conversion rate of 7%, shopping conversion rate of 3%. There are some examples that we've gone up or down on this funnel before we've hit those markers, but you definitely want to be seeing, conversion rates of at least 1% for shopping before you start looking at adding in any other types of campaigns. Really, what we're wanting to do here, as I said, we're trying to get as much data as possible, finding out what ad copy works, finding out what keywords work best, and making sure that our landing pages convert. Now, when we have got that, we can potentially scale our campaign, and sometimes we've been able to scale just on search and shopping alone, or just on search alone, for a good 6 to 9 months. Essentially, what we're doing by scaling there is that we're just increasing the budget to get more traffic volume. But eventually what will happen is that when we look to increase our budget, the increases in our CPC will no longer make that profitable. And what I mean by that is that we might add in a budget increase of 10%, but our CPC goes up by 25%. So we can no longer scale just by increasing our budget. The way to fix that is by adding in some other campaigns. So we would do this in two ways. First one is that we start hitting that remarketing campaign. Now, you may want to start this a lot earlier once you've got your audience lists, but we can do this through display, or we can do it through a shopping feed. You can even do it through a display campaign that only has a shopping feed if you're running e-commerce. But essentially what we're wanting to do here is we're just giving a reminder. We're targeting the traffic that have already clicked on our ads, that have already been to our website, and we're giving them a reminder. And then the next step is to go up into that middle of the funnel. And this is where we're using campaigns like Performance Max. Google will heavily push for you to start with a Performance Max campaign. The problem with that is that even in Google's own documentation, they make it very clear that Performance Max uses your current conversion data to find more conversions. With the problem being, if you don't have any conversion data in your account, it doesn't have any conversion data to go to a track. So now I need to make this very clear, is that when we're setting up a Performance Max campaign, we've got these 3 core factors in place. Firstly, we're only bidding for new customers. So we're not targeting current customers. We're in Performance Max. We're setting up the settings to only bid for new customers. Secondly, we're adding in our own brand as a brand exclusion. So we're not targeting branded traffic. And this is probably the big one that people miss, is that we're only using campaign specific goals. Now for e-commerce brands, that's a lot easier. You can just set it up to go for your transaction goals or your conversion value goals. For a lead gen campaign, as a very, very strong rule, very, very rarely will I use Performance Max to target a form inquiry or a phone call. For lead gen, when it comes to Performance Max, we want to make sure that we've got offline conversion data feeding in. Now, we can do this in a lot of different ways. We can do this manually through Google Sheets, or you could use a third-party tool, whether it be WordStream or Salesforce or Zoho, whatever the situation is, but we want to get that data in of people who are not just completing the forms, but they're actually converting. And that's what you need for success in moving up. Because remember what I said before, when it comes to scaling, you either increase the budget or you reach out to new colder traffic. What you're doing here is you step up. We're targeting the same products or the same services, but what the difference is that we're not letting it eat into our high converting traffic. So we want to make sure that we're always owning that bottom of the funnel, our high intent keywords, our branded keywords with our search and shopping campaigns. And then the next part of the process is that, and you could also do this through video or a dynamic search campaign. Once you start reaching out to that cold traffic and you see that resistance again in CPC, we take it up another step. And that's where you go into demand gen, video or display campaigns. But essentially what we're looking at doing there is that we're starting at the bottom, getting it profitable, and then reaching out to colder and colder audiences. The core concept of the whole bottom up funnel strategy is that you are doing it in a profitable way. And the reason for that is because for me, when I first came into Google Ads, I came into Google Ads from managing my own business. So for me, when I've looked at advertising budgets, I've always looked at it that it doesn't matter how much you're spending, it's all about how much that campaign is generating. So the big thing that I would say is that before you go and look to implement any type of account structure like this, I'd be making sure that fundamentally my campaigns are converting. And that's why even in the age of all these Performance Max and demand gen campaigns, why I love your search and your shopping campaigns, remember shopping if you're e-com, is so that you can really look at that core foundation of, do we have products or do we have ads that are converting? Remember, like I said, if you want to make sure that you're optimizing your campaign in the right way, follow the link in the description below to get access to my Google Ads optimization checklist. And as promised, if you'd like to learn more about how to get high converting landing pages from your Google Ads campaigns, I want you to go through and watch this interview here that I ran with Richard from Testmate, who brings out the 5 core points that you need for a high converting landing page. And this comes from well over 10,000 real life user tests. Hope you go through and enjoy this video. Once again, thank you for joining me. My name is Aaron Young from Define Digital Academy, and I look forward to seeing you in this video right now. See ya.